Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Indigenous Entrepreneurs Network, where I get the pleasure of interviewing exciting Indigenous people who are up to big things in starting and running businesses across Canada. Today, I would like to introduce you to another wonderful set of entrepreneurs who also happen to be partners in business and in life, EJ and Eva Fontaine of AMIK. AMIK is located on the Swan Lake Reserve in Manitoba. That's correct, I hope? And their business specializes in Indigenous recruitment, cultural awareness training, and other turnkey services where they serve corporate Canada and First Nation organizations. So welcome to the show, everyone, and welcome EJ and Eva. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
We're actually located on Swan Lake First Nation Urban Reserve, just out on the outskirts of Winnipeg.
Oh, perfect.
It's urban reserve land, and we've been there for about a couple of years. Actually, we're going on 3 years, I think. Eh?
Yes, yeah.
So just to clarify that we're on First Nation land.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. You're supporting your peeps.
Yes, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you started your business and what made you want to go into business for yourselves?
Yeah, sure. I can do that. Well, what happened was I was working for a politician here in Manitoba, one of the Indigenous politicians for the National Organization Assembly of First Nations, and then he was an elected person, and then he had his election, and then he lost. So when he lost that day, I was out of a job, and after working for so many years and not have a job, I felt really awful about that. So I decided then and there, actually, that I wasn't going to put my family through that anymore. And so I thought the best way to secure the future for myself and my family was to go into business. And so we did. I did some research. I was trying to figure out what area I was going to pursue in business, and we came across an opportunity to get involved in management consulting. At first, we did a lot of research studies, a lot of organizational assessments, things like that of a consulting nature. And so when we did that, we also decided that we were going to focus in on at the time, the federal government was pursuing, it was called the Aboriginal Procurement Initiative, where they were trying to give, their goal was to give more federal contracts to Indigenous companies that met the requirements. So we focused in on that area, did our research, and decided, well, this is what we're going to do. And we prepared some marketing material. My wife helped me prepare marketing material. And I went and funded myself to go to Ottawa. And I spent a week in Ottawa networking, introducing myself to procurement officers. And I came back that week with a nice contract in the area of residential schools. And that was a really good contract because I'm a survivor of residential schools. I went to school there till I was grade 4.
Wow.
And so we were helping people with accessing compensation claims through an alternative dispute resolution process. So that was the first contract we got, and it was really a really good contract. And my wife was able to come over and join me full time in the business, and we haven't looked back since.
Yeah. When we first started out, though, we didn't have an office space. So what we did is we had a desk in the basement of our home, and that's where kind of EJ started doing the work. And, when you're thinking about marketing yourself, well, I knew a little bit of publisher. And so I designed a 3-fold brochure, and we did a 1-pager selling ourselves. And I went to Staples and I bought a duo-tank, couple of nice shiny duo-tanks, and put labels on there. And we were at that time called Anishinaabe Consultants. And so off EJ went to Ottawa, and really blessed to land a great opportunity of a contract in serving our people, and in that way, and supporting them through a litigation process that would stirred up a lot of emotions, right? And so being able to walk alongside our people in that way was, it was difficult, but it's also empowering. And you just see how resilient our people really are. And so that was kind of the beginning of of our business. And then we got another contract, and that's where we started what we call now cultural support. And we're working with the Winnipeg Construction Association and working with 21 students all across Manitoba that were taking their level 1 carpentry out of the R.V. Russell School, high school. And that, that sparked another passion, where seeing these young people, they had families, they were coming in, into the city life, urban living, where it was fast paced, a lot. I remember when I came, it was scary. And so I wanted to make that less scary, or for us to make it less scary. And so we brought in a lot of resources for them. And I really was pretty much what maybe a mother to many, an aunt to some, and just really supported them along that journey. And I am like, some of those young men and women right now, they're all journeymen. Some have built their own homes. And so, but during that time, it was such a struggle. I was spending long hours and sitting at boardroom tables of construction companies, trying to get them to hire our people, to give these young people an opportunity, a chance to showcase their skills and their interest in wanting to be a bigger part of industry. And so I came home and I was exhausted, and I said, TJ, there's got to be a better way for us to sell our people than me sitting at all these boardroom, tables and selling them. And then so he says, well, let's do a website. And EJ is a really big thinker. He's a visionary. And I'm going, okay. And so he started doing some research. And then the next thing was, what were we going to call it? And we wanted it to be something that people could say, but we want to use our language. EJ is Ojibwe, I'm Cree, I'm from Peguis, he's from Saugeen. And so we decided that it would be, we came up with a lot of names, but AMIK was one that was short, it was easy to say, and people would hopefully remember it. And so that's what we went with. And yeah, we were a jack of all trades, and like EJ said, doing everything, business plans and studies. And then one day we said, you know what? We can't be a jack of all trades. We have to be a master of something. And so along with some really great staff, because we could not have built our business without good people working for you. We found people who held the same passion we did. And that was to help our people find employment, to live a sustainable lifestyle, to be able to give their family a good life. We all, I'm sure we all wake up and we all say, I want a good life. I don't think anybody wakes up and say, I want to have a terrible life, right? So then that's really where our passion comes from.
Wow.
Is helping our people in that way. And so, yeah, so AMIK was derived. EJ's researched all of that, and we had a big launch in April of 2006. And we had about 200 employers come.
Holy.
And, yeah, and so, but at that time, it was a bit of a learning curve too, where we had over 100 employers, but we didn't have the job seekers yet, because we were still new. We weren't branded within our own community, but there was a hunger. What we found though, that there was a hunger that industry wanted to hire our people. And so we had to, step back a little bit and start getting out into our own communities and saying, hey, listen, we're here. We wanted to promote you through our website. And then, that was amazing because we have such loyal followers. We've had some competitors come up and people say, well, we're already subscribed to AMIK. And so we've been really blessed that way too, to be able to build a really trusting relationship with our people in that way.
Wow, that's fantastic. And congratulations to you both. It really does sound like a passion business that you're operating. And
Yeah.
and that's when we all wake up every day, every morning, isn't that the goal? We want to work on something that is aligned with our values, where we can serve others and help others. And it sounds like you two have really, really nailed that goal.
Yeah, the other thing that we had said, when we were going into business, is that we wanted to provide a high standard of service because we experienced some not so great service as Indigenous people, and we wanted, no matter who walked through our doors, red, yellow, black, or white, we wanted people to feel special and valued, and that we would provide the highest of standard of service, and treat them like family. So how would you treat family when you bring them into your home? That's the kind of service we did. And so when we look for people that to work with us, they have to hold those same values, right? Because you're going to go above and beyond. You're going to give 110 and sometimes more. We have such amazing staff that they when we come together, we can come up with some really great ideas, and then how do we put that into action, right? And even from our subscribers, they tell us what they need, and so we listen to that, and we try and make build our business services around that, and not only for our subscribers but for our employers that we're working with, because they're key.
Absolutely. And it sounds like your business is very much relationship driven on both sides. And that's been a big, big part of your success. It sounds like you bring everybody in as family, whether they are your clients or your staff or your potential employees that you're placing.
Yeah, well, EJ likes to, he can really connect with people quite easily and find a common ground. And some of the ways, when you're working with Indigenous people, humor plays a big part of it.
Sure.
Yeah, so he can do that. I'm not, I can't do that. So it's good that he can. And so, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, it sounds like, it sounds like you've really built an incredible business. And so what do you see going forward? Like, what is your goal now? And how do you, where do you see AMIK in 5 years?
Well, what we've been seeing lately is that, since the 94 calls to action, is we really want to be able to educate, because that's the best tool that you can give anybody. And so how we do that right now is through our cultural sensitivity training or cultural awareness training. And that curriculum was put together with an elder, with another young gentleman who's very versed in the education of Native studies, and then some of our own knowledge. And really what that is about practical approaches on working with Indigenous people, because what we found out is that there's companies out there that are side by side of First Nation, and they're not hiring, and they don't know how to hire, how to make that connection. So some of the things that we go through with them is through the cultural sensitivity, and it opens up eyes, and that that they can come on reserve, and that there is a whole workforce that is readily available and willing to work and wanting to have a more involvement in industry, because we've been not so much a part of it. And so that's what our goal really is, to get our people in there so that that referral system starts to happen. And we've done that with some really great companies, formerly known as Great West Life, now Canada Life. We're working with CN, we've worked with Johnson Group, Assiniboine Credit Union. So some companies that are really serious, and I think we've been really blessed in the way that we've been able to reach some of the higher corporate managers, and that's where it has to begin, because the buy-in has to come in at that level. And if you don't, then it can't flow down in that direction, can't come from that way. So yeah, we've been really, really lucky to be able to get in and meet with, you know, people at that level, and that they're sincere, and that we're getting our people in there. And so our next goal is, we've done some entry levels, and now we want to actually hopefully get people in management roles in the higher, because we definitely have people in those be able to fill those roles too. So that's the next step of getting industry to look at our people in that way now. So yeah.
This is so exciting, and I can certainly see the growth, even from the Indigenous business, like from the perspective of an entrepreneurial growth, because the economy overall for Indigenous business is expected to grow to $100 billion within the next few years, the next 5 years or so. So that's pretty significant growth. And I'm sure a lot of that is going to come from corporate Canada investing in Indigenous businesses and hiring more Indigenous people of Indigenous descent. So I think that this is such a high growth area, and it's so nice that founders like you two are here to help bridge that gap between corporate Canada and the Indigenous community, because I think it's been a long time coming that, you know, there hasn't been that close relationship. So it's nice that you're acting as that bridge in a way.
Yeah, it's been really rewarding. I mean, you know, some of those people are good friends now, and we've been, you know, to their homes. We talk to them, even though some have moved on from the companies, but we still stay connected to them. And that is really about making relationships. And you know, we talk, you know, the best thing that anybody can do when going into business is build on your networking. Make you know, good, strong, healthy relationships with people along the way, because you never know when you're going to be able to or have to call on them, right? And or ask for their advice, because, you know, when we work with industry, we ask a lot of questions. And I know I was raised, my dad raised us in the sense that you have to ask questions, because the only stupid question is the one that's not asked. And so I'm, you know, I'll ask lots of questions, and if I don't understand, I'm not afraid to ask, right? Because I don't learn. And to be able to take on a challenge, you know, we've always been taught that when you look at challenges, not for it to stop you, but to take it on, and because what will happen is you'll gain knowledge, and it's okay to make mistakes because we learn from that, right? Yeah. So that's what we've kind of done. You know, trial and error. We've done a lot of pilot projects with industry, which creates a safe place to fall for them, you know, and so that we can learn with each other, and collaboration is key in anything, because you want to make sure that it's going to work for them, and it's also going to be beneficial for the job, you know, the people that we're working for, and for our business. And so, yeah, so those are pretty key things when looking at business and building relationships. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Whether you're a job seeker looking to work for a company, or you're an entrepreneur, we're all as strong as our networks.